Yep, it's time to don the hat, guys. Hey, everybody, this is Michaelantonio live here on a Monday afternoon. Boy, do we got a lot to talk about. I gotta tell you, uh, you're not gonna believe. Okay, you are gonna believe what's going on. Um, you know what's happening with big tech, how they're censoring everything conservative, anything that tries to combat their agenda. And you kind of think of it once in a while. You see it, and you don't have a lot of proof all the time. And sometimes you wonder, gee, is it always happening? But I can tell you, well, we have proof now. Those of us that are involved with the red right and you, we have proof because the other day, the founder of the page, Dom Luquette, he found an interesting what I would call an anomaly, but it's not really anomalous to these big tech giants. He found a little notice saying that some of the posts that were made, namely by my website, Michaelantonio Media, or michaelantonio.biz, they were saying that they were was it fake news or spammy? I'm trying to remember the exact wording here. Let me get the exact wording for you, just so I can show you how we know this is. Actually, the term was clickbait. Basically, Facebook was accusing me, specifically me, of posting clickbait on the Red, Right, and You page. That's what they were saying. It's clickbait. Well, what's ironic about that, the reason why I know that that's not true, is that most of the stuff that I actually share is syndicated information. It's syndicated articles from larger pages like Breitbart, Fox News. These are things that, if you want to accuse Fox News and Breitbart of, posting clickbait, I think, that's a little bit much. Those are big companies, and, they don't have to be clickbaity to really get people to view them. They get plenty of views without that. So, when I'm seeing this, I'm just kind of, it amazes me that, they think I'm that stupid. So now we know what they're doing. So now I kind of had to come to, it's almost like you have to strategize around these people. Now, when I was talking to Dom about it, I get angry. I get really angry, and I have to apologize to Dom. Dom, I'm sorry if I get angry and I seem like I kind of, I guess I go overboard with my emotions. Because to me this is a war. These people are trying to silence us. They're trying to shut us up. And, if they win this war, it's all over. It's going to be, I don't know if it'll ever get as bad as Soviet Russia or China, but you know what? It's already bad. It's going to get much worse. And I don't want to live in that world. I don't want to live in that country, in America, if I got to live like that, if I got to bow down to this controlling tyrannical agenda. I don't think it's right. I think we need to fight hard. But, I sometimes will say things that are probably a little bit over the top because I get angry. I'm like, hey, what are we supposed to do about this? We don't, and I hope Dom doesn't mind me talking about this the way I'm talking about it. But Dom is, he is a little more level-headed sometimes. At least he's the kind of person who he understands that you can't always punch right back hard. You can't come right at him. He kind of has that. What is it? Who is it? That famous Shenzhou, was it? The famous Japanese warrior who he understood the art of war. Saying when you don't have the same power as the enemy, you kind of have to do things a little bit differently. You can't necessarily fight toe to toe with them. I want to fight toe to toe. I want to be Balboa. You know what I'm saying? Hey, bring on Creed over here. I can take it. I can take this. But no, we get to that point where we're like, man, I just want to fight toe to toe. But Dom, he's right most of the time. I'm not saying all the time, but most of the time, Dom is right. That we got to be a little more wise than that. We got to be wise as serpents, as it says in the Bible. We have to be smart about this, and it's tough sometimes to be that way. It's very difficult because you want to just come right at them. You want to come at them with both barrels and say, "Oh, are you ready?" Because we kind of, if you're a conservative, you believe that God is on your side, or at least we're on God's side. In other words, we can come boldly, and God's going to back us up. Now, what does that mean? Unfortunately, that doesn't always mean that we win right away, that we get everything we want. Sometimes it means we become a martyr, as Jesus himself is a martyr. What did he do? He allowed himself to be killed. He allowed himself to be sacrificed. And so sometimes that hurts, So I guess there's a time to be a martyr if you want to come at him with both barrels, and they will annihilate you, at least your body or at least your message right away. They'll kind of annihilate that for a while. But, the message does endure in other voices. But I digress. What I'm trying to say is that, how do you approach this? How do you approach this situation where they're kind of, it's really laughable. Oh, you're sending clickbait to the site now. Really? Clickbait? When larger companies, I see stuff from Huffington Post and from all these other left-wing rags talk about clickbait. Oh my, really. So it's all a lie. What they're saying is absolutely untrue, but somehow they don't seem to care. It's, they got to come up with something. It's like a PR thing for them. We got to come up with something, so we'll just lie to them. We'll say, it's clickbait. We gotta restrict your coverage, and that's what they do. What they do is they just basically tell you, hey, we noticed that your stuff seems kind of clickbaity, so we're not going to distribute this to too many people. We're gonna cut you off at the knees, in other words. So a lot of people aren't seeing the things that we're distributing, which is, that's censorship. That's what it is. That's what they're doing. Would they dare do that to Huffington Post? I don't think so. So it's tough for me. It's very tough for me to not want to just grab somebody by the throat in those situations. You're like, what are you doing? You're trying to squelch our free speech. You almost feel you want to squelch theirs. Like we want to show you what it feels like. What is it? I guess that's the gangsta. That's kind of like that's the mobster in the old Italian in me. It's like, hey, you want to do that to me? I'm going to show you what that feels like. Let me show you what that feels like. You know what I mean? And that's, but it's really, 99% of the time that's the wrong approach. I guess there is a time and a place for that. You have to put the fear of God in them sometimes, but I don't think that's the approach all the time, and it may not be the approach this time. I think we need to be smarter. So, guys, I guess one of the solutions is, and I will listen to your solutions if you have any. Please comment below. Who's ever seeing this? You're going to see this maybe on YouTube or some other platform. Comment below. Comment. Let me know what you think. What you think should be done in those situations when they do this stuff. I think I'm going to make more videos, and I'm going to, in these videos, I'm going to encourage you, go to my website, Michaelantonio.biz, Michaelantonio.biz, and that's where you'll read the articles. You can get all the articles, and it has articles from various different sources. So you're getting a lot of it's a consolidated mix of sources, which is really good for you, so you don't have to go hunting around. It's all right there for you. And I wanted to provide that to you. So it's beautiful. It's all there in one place, so you can see it in all the different, mostly conservative, I would say. There's some that are like entertainment based that are not, but it's good to kind of see what the enemy is doing sometimes too. You want to see how they're angling things. You want to kind of get an idea. You have to study your enemy. Study what your enemy is doing. Find out what they're all about. So I want to encourage you, go to my website, Michaelantonio.biz, and you can read it there. And I'm also going to be sharing some of the things that I'm selling. I do have a shop on my website. I encourage you to go there. I have the Trump hats, the MAGA hats. I have like this one here. This is my stylish MAGA hat. It's a little bit different than the Make America Great Again hat. It's not red. It looks nice. It's a nice twill cap. And maybe you're a more stylish person than the average Joe, and this is the kind of thing that you'd want to get. I have one like this. I have one that has the MAGA in a red color, which might be more suitable for you. So check out the stuff that I have there for sale at the shop. And I have other stuff too. I do have also the red MAGA caps as well, the standard, and other things too. So and the list is growing as it pertains to that. But so many awesome things, and it's hard. I can't even share articles anymore. I mean, because they're saying it's clickbaity, but it's amazing what they're doing. They're just trying to squeeze us right off. But I do, again, this is where faith comes in. You have to have faith. You have to have faith that if the truth is really what you have within you, if you have truth in you, you don't have to worry about the message getting out. It will get out. It will, in fact, get out. And it may not get out right away. You may not even see it. You may tell somebody something that they may even laugh at you. They may mock you. They may challenge you. They might even, threaten you. I mean, it might get ugly. They might tell all their friends about how devilish you are, and then their friends will come and mock you. Trust me, I'm a target every single day. I am a target every day. But it doesn't matter. Keep at them. Tell them the truth in love. Be as loving as you can. Tell them the truth. Let them know that you're not going to waver in your thoughts, and that you are on God's side. God's not on your side. You are on God's side. There is a difference, and there's a huge difference. So, guys, just go to my website. But, if there's anything else you want to talk about, let me know. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure exactly how to advance with this issue, this particular censorship issue. I think the process has begun. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos. That's what I think the next step is, to continually do videos to let people know what I have available for them. And like I said, these articles are from a wide variety of sources, so you don't have to worry about like one particular narrow point of view. But it's crazy. And guys, also, I want you to share your experiences too. This is important. I want to hear what you have experienced as it pertains to censorship, anything involved, any kind of persecution you've gotten. I want specific stories. We're going to share your stories I'm going to share them on my platforms. I'm going to share the stuff on the Red, Right, and You page. I'm going to share it. I'll even share your stories on YouTube and on my videos. I want you to know that I care about what you're dealing with too. And also, I want to use those things as a weapon against these censors. I want people to know that when they say, well, we're not censoring them, that's just a big lie. I want people to know that they are lying. I want people to know that they're not telling the truth. They're a bunch of liars. That's what they are. So we're going to win this war. Ultimately, we may lose a few battles because that's the way it is. Look, people need to understand this, and we hear this from a lot of atheists when they say, well, if there's a God, why does he allow so much suffering? Why does he allow all this stuff? Why doesn't he just come right out and say, here I am, and all these people are telling the truth, that I am God and I am real? Well, it's because this is a test. This whole planet is a big filter. It's a test to see who is going to overcome. If we know automatically, if God just presents himself to us, and we automatically know, oh yeah, there's God, he'll protect us, we don't have to worry about anything, then we're not going to do anything. You have to have faith. You have to believe in something against the odds. You have to actually say, man, this is a tough life, man. I'm getting resistance everywhere. Without resistance, you don't strengthen yourself. And that's what this is all about. You have to be strong. And the only way to strengthen yourself is through resistance. What is resistance? Resistance is weakness. Resistance is struggles and trials, injury, weakness, disease. All the things that we experience as human beings. The human experience is both enjoyable and tragic all at the same time. Sometimes it's a wonderful thing and it's a terrible thing too. And we all know this. We've all experienced that. I want to share a personal experience of mine in the recent past, within the last week or so. It hasn't been a very easy week, or I should say easy month. This is my birth month. And here I am celebrating my birthday, and this month, and of course the 50th anniversary of my birthday, and the 50th anniversary of the first moon landing in the history of humanity. We're celebrating that as well. So it's all a wonder. Should be a wonderful time. Like, look at the amazing things we've accomplished. It's wonderful. But on the same token, I lost a pet. I lost our beloved cat, Kelso. He had been having some health problems for the last year or so, but we thought he was going to overcome. He was doing all right. In fact, he was at the doctor's about a month ago, and he was, they gave him some medications, and he started feeling better, and he was eating again, and he was even playing a little bit with us, and he able to still jump and walk, and he seemed okay. And then, within a moment's notice, within 24 hours, he began to get very ill, and he got very sick. And I went to work. I come home. I was at the gas station on my way home from work, and I get a text from my woman saying that they had to put him down. They had to let him go. And it was really hard for me. It was hard for all of us. I'm still struggling with it. It's painful to lose a pet. It's painful to lose somebody that you love, and that's hard. That's hard. So these are just the things. We go through these losses, and I've lost several friends in the last couple of years to death. And these people were young. They were close to my age. And I thought, man, sometimes I ask God, why do you take them so young? It's one thing to lose an older friend, someone who's lived their life, and maybe it's just time for them to go. God's calling them home. But, we tend to forget that sometimes God calls us home early. And it's sad. It hurts. It hurts. Even if you lose a pet or a close friend, it doesn't matter. It hurts. This is life. And that's why I'm saying this is what it's all about. You got to have faith. You got to persist. God, and it sounds tough. It almost sounds tribal, and it sounds very Spartan. Like, God wants you to be tough. He wants overcomers in his kingdom. He wants overcomers to surround him. He doesn't want weaklings. He doesn't want people who, and I don't mean by weak, people who are physically weak. There are physically weak people who are very strong mentally and emotionally and spiritually. So this is not about physical weakness. You can have a handicap. You can be one of the physically weakest people on the planet, and yet the strongest ever. I mean, it's just the way it is. That's the way. God doesn't want, spiritually weak people on this planet. He doesn't want people who are going to just shut him off because they see suffering and they see struggle. That's not the way God operates. He wants you to be strong. I got to say this, there was a man who passed away a few years ago. He was an atheist. His name was Christopher Hitchens. Now, Christopher Hitchens is world famous. Everybody knows about Christopher Hitchens. He was a world-renowned atheist. He did not believe in God. And if he didn't believe in God, even not believing in God, he hated God. It was like he was, what was the old expression, something to the effect of, I don't believe in God and I hate him. It's like, wait, how does that work? So, but I just wanted to say it because he was the type. His philosophy was, in fact, well, if there's such a benevolent, loving God, why does he allow all this suffering? And therefore he refused to make that extra step to say, wait a minute, if there's a God, he wouldn't allow this, so I just don't believe in it. Well, that made Christopher Hitchens a weak human being. He was weak. He was weak because he could not get over the fact that humanity sometimes means suffering. We're in a body here, folks. We're in a human natural body. And this human body is not immortal. And it wasn't meant to be. I mean, God is allowing us to suffer mortality. And that means death. And even before death, it means a lot of suffering in between times of enjoyment. That's just the way life is. And so I see somebody like Christopher Hitchens, and I say, what a weak person. What a person that couldn't even lean on God. They couldn't say, man, I know there's suffering, but, there has to be a plan. See, there's a plan. And if you believe that there's no plan, If you believe that there's no rhyme or reason, then what are you doing here? Why are you here? Why believe in any kind of organization? If you look at nature, and this is, again, I'm going to get into this in a lot of other videos. I'm going to tell you how we know God is real. And I'm going to explain this to those who are either confused about it or refuse to believe it. And so I want you to share this video, and I want people to argue with me about it. Go ahead. You tell me why I'm wrong. That's fine. That's fine. But I want to tell people, excuse me, this is why we know God is real. Everything is organized. Everything about humanity is organized. Without it, you can't live. Let's take it up on the macroscopic level. The universe itself. Then we focus in on the solar system, the sun, the earth. Did you know that the earth is at the perfect distance around the sun, perfect angle of inclination? Everything is designed perfectly for life on earth. Perfectly. The moon is at the perfect distance for the balancing of the earth and the sun. With the tides, with everything that works the way it does, everything is like clockwork. It works perfectly for human life to exist on this planet. Let's not forget that. Then let's kind of focus in microscopically. Let's go to the atoms and molecules that make up matter itself. If it's even off by a little bit, by one little tincture of measure, life nothing can exist. Not just life, but matter can't exist. Matter. So we're talking about things here that are so amazing. Then you get into life itself. All of the inner workings, trillions of things happening, and that had to happen one before the other for life to exist. And it couldn't have been random, because there's a concept that's called irreducible complexity. You can't have one thing without the other. You know how they talk about what came first, the chicken or the egg? It's very similar to that. The point is, you can't have organization without forethought, without design. Just like human beings design things. What you're watching me on right now, this video was, the components that allow you to see this video were designed by intelligent minds. And what's ironic is the very minds that created these things are the same ones that a lot of them don't even believe in God. It's funny to me. Oh yeah, we can organize this, but there can't be a God. Had to be all one big accident. I advise you, or I challenge you, take some scrap metal, and maybe some wires, whatever makes up a computer or any kind of electronic equipment. Throw it on the ground, and let's let it cook for about 1 billion, 2-3 billion years. How about what they say the universe is? What is it, like 12 to 20 billion, whatever it is? So let it sit there for 20 billion years. Do you think you're going to get a computer when you come back to it? Do you think a computer is going to show up when you walk there and see it? It doesn't work that way. Did you know that the human body, that all life itself is more complicated than any computer that mankind has ever devised? So you think that was an accident? Everything has a plan. And so when you see the plan of life, when you see the plan of design, and how it all comes together, and here we are. Here we are. And then you say, well, there's suffering. Oh, can't be God. So wait a minute. If there's a plan for life, how can there not be a plan for your specific life and what you are experiencing, what you are dealing with in life? How can there be? How can there not be? So it's you can't have it. That's why there's a scripture that says, as it is in heaven, so is it on earth. Everything from the top to the bottom, from the macro to the micro, from the heavenly to the earthly, everything works together. Everything works the same. So if human beings are able to design things that operate, cars, I don't care, the most simple devices, a spoon, a fork, any tool, if human beings use their intelligence to create that, then guess what? It's the same way with God. There was an intelligent mind that created life. It all works the same. We are just a product of that. We're just kind of following the blueprint. We're following the blueprint on a more on a more microscopic level. God is the macro, we are the micro. And of course, there's even something more microscopic. We have atoms, we have, molecules, we have subatomic particles, the neutrinos, protons, neutrons, electrons. We have all these things. This stuff was no accident, and if it were an accident, we wouldn't have, if something just accidentally happened, we wouldn't have life the way we have it now. We wouldn't have matter the way we have it now. It just wouldn't be possible. The odds are so far against it that it just wouldn't be possible. So guys, all I'm saying is we have to fight fire with fire, but in a way that is wise. Let's be wise as serpents. Let's change hearts and minds one at a time. Let's get people to a position where we can convince them that, hey, you know what? What these people are saying is just, they're trying to convince you. They're doing it through arrogance. And I don't ever want to do that. I don't want to have an arrogant, well, I just know this is true and that's it. I'm a scientist and I know. Yes, I have a science background. I have a degree in science. Yes, so in that sense, I am a scientist. But on the same token, I don't need to be a scientist to tell you what science is. I don't need to be a scientist to tell you that a lot of science today is faulty because they don't actually use logic and reason. They don't use that. Everything they talk about is nonsensical. They try to make sense. They try to use inductive reasoning, like because someone more than 150 years ago came up with some idea about how life began and how life evolved, how it became to be what it is now, because we have to kind of reverse engineer it. We have to make our science fit with that belief, that hypothesis. And the problem is that's not how science works. Science is not a hypothesis. You don't try to make your science fit the hypothesis. That's not how it works. You do come up with a hypothesis. Well, I think it's this. And then you begin your experiment. Guess what happens after you hypothesize? There are times when your hypothesis is totally false. You find out through experimentation and through basic empirical knowledge that, this is not working. This is not working. Well, I can get into the whole evolutionary argument, and I will at a later date. Guess what we find out? The hypothesis of evolution doesn't fit the argument. It simply does not. Sorry. If you look at reality and the way things work, you find out that it's impossible for evolution to work. At least on a macro level. Now, yes, there are certain things that living species adapt to. Yeah, there's certain adaptations, but that's something again that could have been designed because it's on a micro level and it's within particular species or within what we call a kind. Remember something: people who created that that nomenclature that goes from kingdom, phylum, class, order, right? Family, genus, species. Remember that? That's just a nomenclature created by men. So really, when you even think about that we created that type of design and they tried to use that to prove evolution, when in actuality it's not that. They're making it more complicated than it really is. We have what are called kinds, okay? And those kinds are, within those kinds you can have certain adaptations that change based on climate, based on certain conditions. But you don't have macroevolution. It's unprovable. We don't have the evidence, not even nearly the evidence to back it up. In fact, the more they learn, the more they find out that it's not true. So we can get into that at another time, and I would love to get into it, but guys, it's not true. All this stuff they're talking about when they talk about evolution, when they say, there can't be a God because of all this suffering and all these things. If you study Eastern philosophy, you even know they have something called a yin and a yang, right? You have to have opposites. If you have great pleasure, great happiness, great joy, you have to have great suffering so you can appreciate the joy and understand the difference. If you have just joy, you will never understand really what joy is. You can't. You have to have the suffering to understand the joy and the relief. That's just the way it is. And so that's another thing. You know, Eastern philosophy got that right. They didn't get everything right, but they got that one right. So, guys, I want you to let me know what you would do in a situation with all this censorship. Help me come up with ideas so that we can share the message and get out there what we need to get out there without the censorship. I mean, it appears the president is trying to do certain things. He had that social media summit last week or a few weeks ago. That's great. It is. But we got to come up with strategies. So let me know below. Let me know, guys, wherever you see this video, whenever you see this video. Let me know, guys. But in the meantime, again, I have products like this MAGA hat on my website, Michaelantonio Media, Michaelantonio.biz. I am going to show you now. I'm going to show you now where to go to see that. Okay, here we go. And here we are. This is the actual front page. Here, and then I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you some of the gifts, some of the things that I have here for us to purchase. Trump flag, the standard Trump Make America Great Again hat, of course. And I also have the, like I showed you, the stylish hat, the stylish MAGA hat that I am selling here. I have to show you, but first, while I wait for this thing to load, remember, it is Michaelantonio.biz, Michaelantonio.biz, everyone. Yeah, I guess we got to beat these guys by doing videos and showing you stuff on video instead of having to share it, because they say it's all a bunch of bologna. There's the MAGA hat. I said the red MAGA hat, twill cap with the MAGA red, and I have the standard MAGA that I have, that I showed you. And I even got shirts. Look at this one. This is a nice one. It's a MAGA tank top for the cool guys. If you're a cool muscle guy, this is the shirt to have. I'm trying to do Arnold, but I'm not very good at that. I'm just not. Sorry. It's not going to happen. So anyway, guys, like I said, guys, I want to apologize once again to Don for kind of blowing my top, yesterday because of what we're dealing with here. I mean, I was hot. I mean, I was just angry because I'm just tired of this. It's getting tiresome. But we can be smarter than this. We can be better than this, and we will be better than this. So, guys, give me your suggestions. Let me know what you think. Until then, I'm going to talk to you guys later. And God bless, man. And give me some ideas for videos, whatever you want me to talk about in videos, any subject matter, anything. Let me know. I'm ready to talk about it, you know. So, like I said, God bless, and